Drumming started for me when Gord Penner and I were driving around in the country listening to metal, and I was tapping my foot to the music, and he said, "I want you to try something." So he took me to his place and sat me behind the kit, and that was the start of it all. I had to, because I didn't have any teachers, I was always trying to motivate myself. And I mean, my ear got really good, but I really didn't know what I was doing, and I was just trying to copy people as I heard them and, copy what they did. But my ear came to a point where I couldn't copy anymore, and I ended up having to grab some lessons from a guy in Winnipeg. His name was Kelly, and then I started taking lessons from a guy named Kevin. He was the one that got me ready to go down to Los Angeles.
So, would you say that is that what inspired you to become a teacher, because there was nobody around?
No, actually, that was another. I was working at Pembina Valley Music Center, and I sold a drum set to a guy, and he asked me if I taught, and I said no. And he said, "Well, would you want to come over and just show me a few beats?" And I said, "I don't know if I'm the right guy for that." And he was pretty adamant, so I did. And turns out I really liked it. Being able to help people realize some of their goals, I think, is probably my favorite part of it. And most of the time it's just helping them to understand that they're able to do it even when they feel overwhelmed. Because music is really a huge subject. There's art involved, there's science involved, there's math involved. So the whole thing just kind of comes together, and that could be really overwhelming, especially when you start to see the big picture and you start to realize that this is a part of what you're doing. The realization sometimes is the overwhelming part, but what I love is just helping them to believe in themselves, that they can do it. But it just needs to be done step by step. I think the biggest challenge for teaching is just connecting with every person that walks through the door. Everybody has a different life, a different thing that's going on with them, and sometimes the drum lesson moves to something other than drumming. Maybe they've had a terrible week. Maybe they need someone to talk to for a second just about something that happened. Although, probably, I would say the biggest thing is just connecting with people and switching gears every half an hour. Really, probably the biggest inspiration for me is being pulled out of a past of heavy addiction by God when I cried out to Him one night. And that has been my inspiration far past drumming and into my regular life. When things get dark, I can always look back and see where I came from. Some of the challenges that I've faced drumming have been, at times when I've been in a bunch of bands all at the same time, is just keeping everything straight. Reading charts, trying to memorize things, going over music enough, and then trying to balance that in life, because my wife needs time, and I love my wife. Carrie's the one that actually got me to really invest in going to Los Angeles and studying down there. She was the one that really spurred me on, because I was actually honestly pretty scared about it. But she was the one that helped me, was behind me, inspired me to push forward. So that, I guess, is another challenge. The school that I went to, Los Angeles Music Academy, and now it's Los Angeles College of Music, is incredibly difficult. Some of the best teachers in the world, some of the best players in the world are there. And the curriculum to get through that was drinking from the fire hose, because they really pushed a bachelor education into just over a year. So the amount of information we had to get through in 1 year was just unbelievable and completely overwhelming. And at times I wanted to quit. And I would say to my wife, I think we need to move back to Canada And she said, no, you need to finish. And so I really appreciate and love my wife for backing me up through that whole thing. If I had to give advice to the 18-year-old Mike, I would say stay away from certain people and certain things. Get your butt into a drum college and start getting yourself established. At the same time, though, without my past and without everything else, I wouldn't be the person I am today. So then it would just be a bunch of new advice. I would say, first of all, make sure you have something that makes you some money, and then let that be your A plan, and make music your hobby you do in the evenings. Because what I've seen with a lot of people is when music becomes a job, they lose the love. And so, first of all, do something that'll make you some money, get you established. Let music overtake that. And if it never does, that's okay, because the word amateur, the root word of the word amateur is M, a French word, to love. So we have this negative connotation of the word amateur, but really it's not a negative word. It's to love something. You do it because you love it. So, until that love becomes something that you can make money at, find something that you can do that makes you money. Then let music overtake that. And I think that's a much more natural way of doing it, because when we start to put pressure on music to make money, I've seen a lot of people, including myself, when you do that, the love just is gone.